Hey, what's up, guys? It's Girl Mo here, and now I'm not in front of the green screen, and I don't think that I could actually chroma key out the background without also chroma keying out my eyeballs and the reflection on my glasses. I just didn't feel like bringing out the green screen. In fact, it's not necessary for me as long as I'm talking to you guys and we're getting a nice dialogue. Like the H3H3 podcast, they just kind of sit in their studio with their guests, and you guys are my guests though. So, and you can't really talk. You can comment if you want, like, something to be in there. You ask a question, I can do it in the next week. I try to do these weekly. The schedule is really up to the way my ideas flow and how life allows. So anyway, let's get into this. This is a creative holiday podcast. I don't really remember whether I said that or not. I like to keep these as uncut as possible, so I try not to say stupid stuff. So this episode is, I don't know what time it is, but someone's out front. I don't know who it is, though. I'll figure it out later. It's not important. So this episode is about mental illness, specifically trying to understand how mental illness feels. Because, mental health is about mental health. How mental health is, like, equating it to, like, physical pain. Mental pain and physical pain, like the health of it, trying to equate it, like what's the equivalent, but not equivalent, but like, just to give you a gauge of the effects of these things in like the longevity in the long term. So first, I've got, say you lost your favorite pen or your teddy bear or something, or you had to sell something, you had to get rid of something, something's gone. But it's like an object and it's not that big of a deal. That would be, or like an object that you use every day and you're like, wow, man, that was that would be the equivalent of like scraping your knee, or maybe, I feel like paper cuts are a little more long lasting, so I would say paper cut, but to me a paper cut can be on my finger for like 3 days because, I don't know, my skin and my fingers are thick, so I guess it's harder for it to heal, but like, I don't know if it's like that to other people. So, I'm just saying it's like similar to a knee scrape because it'll heal in like a day or two. You'll have a scab almost like immediately, like very soon, to keep your body's always like fighting against that type of things. It's already on the ball. It's getting you there unless you have some sort of autoimmune system or something like that. Something that keeps you from scabbing up as well, like you have a lack of platelets in your blood. So yeah, like losing like a pen that you use every day, your favorite pen, it's like, it gets you bummed out, but it's not that bad. You'll recover really easily, You just put a Band-Aid on it, you're fine. Get a new pen, And then a breakup would be very similar to like, you ever like burn yourself? You ever cook? Do you cook? Do you cook? Do you flat iron your hair? Burning yourself, depending on how you feel about that person, how genuine you were in that relationship, not specifically them, but like you, I would say that a breakup would be like a light burn because it'll sting, it'll leave a mark. You'll go through a grieving period, a separation period, like getting used to not being around that person. It'll leave a mark on you. It'll be in the back of your mind for a while until the burn goes away and then you're good enough to go and try and cook again, or to flat iron your hair again, or whatever. And maybe even you can try and do those things beforehand, like before you're completely healed, but you're healed enough. It's just like something that doesn't, it's not like a crazy burn, like where you're scalded and like you're scalded, but like scarred for life, like a really bad scar, like a really deep tissue type of scar. It's just like a light thing that is going to take some time to go through. And it's going to show on you that you're not 100%. People can see that burn. But it's not that bad because you will eventually get over it. Because you need to cook. You need to go out there. It's a part of who you are. You need to, go and find love. Unless it's a really bad burn. Like, life-changing. Like, there are so many things that can happen in a relationship that could scar people for life, like people who are abusive, things like that. But then that'd be like a much worse burn. But I would say it's like getting burned. It stings depending, And then the next one is the loss of a loved one. I would say it's like breaking your arm or breaking your knee, like right here. Because it's, I wouldn't say it's bound to happen. I've never broken a bone, but I know that when you break a bone, it heals back, and usually it's tougher or like more stronger after you break it. Or at least that's what I've heard. Let's just go with that idea. When you lose a loved one, it's nothing you can do about it. You just kind of have this thing that weighs on you, and people can see it. You have this crutch, or you have this arm, wrist, I don't really remember what it's called, but you know, you have that thing. You can see it. People know that you've gone through something. Something's happened. They don't know exactly what, but they know the result of it is this. So it's like something that's going to last a while. It's going to take you a while to get through it. But you know, you have other limbs. You have other family members. Hopefully, if you don't, I'm very, very sorry. So I guess you broke all your legs and all your arms. But, you know, usually when it's like one or two loved ones that are lost, you know, it's gonna take a while to get over it. It takes about the same time, honestly. It hurts as much. You'll need help getting through it. You're gonna need help from others, help from yourself. You need to be headstrong. By the end of it, you will be mentally stronger because you will build relationships with the people who have helped you go through it. And you'll have learned how to deal with it yourself, so your mental understands these feelings better because it's gone through this period of grief and all the different steps in between grief. Like, I don't even know right now, but you know, you can look them up on Google right now. I'll give you some time. You can pause me. But yeah, it's gonna take some time. It's about that much because it really does cripple you. It does. It's like, especially when it's a close one, but even if it's someone that you've known a bit, it does weigh on you a bit, you know. So next is trauma. Trauma is like abuse as a child, abuse as a grown up in a relationship. It's something that you went through, something that may or may not be someone else's fault. Something more likely someone else did to you that hurt you in some sort of way. I would say that is the equivalent to getting shot in one of your major organs, your major internal organs. I could say major organ, but your skin is technically one of your major organs. But I'm saying like maybe in the intestines, maybe the stomach, the liver, something that's going to need a lot of help, and it's going to leave you having to take therapies and surgeries, and you're going to need to take pills, and you're going to need to have a lot of things you need to do to survive, honestly. Oh, I'm running out of time. So give me a second. And we're back. Okay. Sorry, I had to delete a whole bunch of stuff because I had a bunch of useless files still on my phone. Yeah, I'm recording with my phone. Galaxy S9 Plus is actually a banger. I'm not on full quality because of the possibility of me being able to use a green screen. I didn't realize that I could have left it on high quality, but it's okay. It's okay, because just in case I can still use my green screen. I really doubt I can, but you know, let's keep on going. So I'm saying that trauma, like abuse and stuff, you know, you've heard it literally seconds ago, is like getting shot in an internal organ. Because when you're traumatized, you have a time where you can't trust anything. Like when you get shot, it's the same mental thing as well, but we're trying to do the same, not the same mental, but the same physical to mental link. So when you're shot, no one can touch the area where you got shot without it hurting. You're afraid for someone to touch that area. You yourself, you'll probably be able to be like, oh no, oh it hurts. And even me touching it hurts. But if anybody else touches it, I feel like I'm not in control and I'm losing something, and I can't let that happen, you know? So, you know, if you get shot in the kidney, I believe you're gonna have to eat, like, you'll probably have to go through dialysis and things. There's a lot of things that happen, and it's probably going to be a lifelong struggle. At that point, you'll probably be needing transplants and things. And like a transplant doesn't last but so long because it's not your organ. So technically your body is going to reject it and it's just going to push it away. And it's very similar to how a person with trauma can push away the people that try to help them or try to become part of their lives. And they may or may not know why they're being pushed away. And even if they do, sometimes it's just nothing that they can do, because it's up to you for whether you want them in your life and stuff. And it's hard for them because it's not just going to go away. Sometimes things like that can heal. Sometimes they are debilitating. It just really depends on how bad it is and how mentally strong or how strong the body is or how, fatally they were shot, So it really, I'm going to say it always varies, especially to your own pain tolerance, how these things affect you. So, yeah, I'm just done over explaining that part. So next is depression. Now, depression comes from so many things. Most of these major things can cause depression. There are some people who experience depression in periods, like as a period of time, like if their loved one dies, there is a period of depression, and not just grief, but depression, because that person is very close to them, always was like this specific thing to them. Then there would be like a depression there, like if you lose your wife or something, or your husband or your aunt. Why do my eyes keep doing this? I look like one of those little dogs you had, they're like robot dogs, and their eyes would light up. That's what I look like. I'm sorry. But yeah, depression gets caused from so many things. So it's like there are people who have depression because something happened to lead them to this depression, and there's people who have chemical imbalances. There are people like me that have a variety of things that could be going on, and it's kind of almost a mystery where it came from or when it started, and maybe it slowly crept up, and it just asks you, like it stays for a long period of time, and maybe it releases its grip for like a week or a day, and if you're incredibly lucky, a month. I would say that depression is like a hereditary disorder, something that you cannot control. Some people are like, oh, you're depressed, just be happy. That's not how it works. It's not how it works. Something else caused this, and it's not something I want to be. I don't want to be depressed. It's like, you were born this way. You were born to have this eventual thing happen in your life, and now you just have to figure out how to go through life. There are treatments for depression, just like there are treatments for hereditary disorders. Certain types of depression, just like certain types of disorders, have no real cure. There are things people can do to help maybe minimize the symptoms, but that really does not stop you from this deteriorating in this. And sometimes people need to find out a way on their own how to figure it out. Honestly, there is, I would say, maybe a better mortality rate with depression, just because it is a mental strength thing. And I believe that there's no one out there who is dealing with depression that needs to die. There's no reason for you to do this. You are allowed to go through a period of depression because you can go through it. I'm just saying that out there for you guys, because I know depression is not something you choose, but it's something you have to work through. You have to fight through. It's just, when you're thinking about depression, do not think about it as a choice. Never think about it as a choice. Don't never blame the person who is depressed for being depressed. In fact, you might be the reason that they're depressed, just because of sometimes long periods of certain treatments to people can just wear them down to a depressed state. And you always have to be mindful of that. So whenever you meet people, always be very conscious of the way you treat them. Even if they are an ass, they're probably in pain. Mental pain and even physical pain. I've been in physical pain going through life. And there's nothing that I would like more but for someone to shut up. So you cannot just go at somebody who is an ass and just treat them like that. You got to be nice to them, be sweet, make their day, do what you can. You never know what people are going through. Mental pain, physical pain. Just because someone doesn't show it on the outside and maybe they're a bit grumpy doesn't mean that they deserve any less positive feelings towards them, you know? So that's my very long-winded way of telling you that mental health issues are real. That you need to pay attention to those around you and never take anything lightly, because you don't know how long they've been dealing with it. People can go through depression for years and no one know about it. I have been depressed since I was 12. I feel like 8, but I think that's just when it was starting slowly. I didn't understand. I've been depressed for a very long time, and I can tell you that when I told people that I was depressed, they didn't know. You know why? Because they just assumed I was quiet. No, I was dying inside. That's how I felt all the time. Actually, I felt nothing. But when I did feel, I felt like I was dying all the time. So as someone who has been going through depression for a very long time, this is one of those periods where depression is gone and I'm allowed to actually feel emotions again. After long periods of not being able to feel anything, I finally feel. So I'm trying to give you all the heads up that I can and explaining what this feels like. Sometimes it doesn't even feel. So when you're out there just meeting people, be careful. Just be careful. And with your loved ones, if they're not excited about something they would have been excited about before, maybe they don't feel. I used to say, people would be like, how do you feel? How are you feeling? And I'd be like, I don't. And they would just be like, okay, and just let it go. Like, who says they don't feel? People let you know because they want you to know. You just gotta be able to pay attention. I have honestly for years said, I don't. And no one listens. So you need to be out there watching young people. Because you don't know how long they've been going through this. You don't know how bad it's gotten. If it gets to the point where they don't feel, there's a problem. Okay? So you watch out for your friends and your loved ones. There will be a time where you feel again. You just have to make sure you find a way to manage this. Whatever makes you unequivocally happy. Or happy, like, without any reason. Like, for a while, YouTube was my way of dealing with my depression. Like, instead of substance abuse, because people use substance abuse because they're depressed, it's the only thing that brings them any type of feeling or joy. That's what they use. So you gotta find what it is. If you say that nothing in the world does that for you, you can find something. And if you have to binge it, binge that shit, bruh. Otherwise, you won't be able to make it. You have to find your crutch. People say you shouldn't use a crutch. Use your crutch because they don't know what it feels like. Use your crutch. Get through this. You will find your period where you can speak and you can feel and you can go. Even if it's for a month, a week, a day, fight for those days. And when you get those days, make the most of it. Do not clam up. Do not hide in your ball. When you get those days, you need to show it, use it, feel it, do everything, okay? We cannot shut ourselves in. We cannot, okay? So as one depressed individual to you, hang in there, please. I'm so serious. Hang in there. It gets better. You'll learn. You'll learn how to go through this. Imagine you're just going through this passage and there's just so many obstacles. Get stronger. Train. Do it. Get mentally strong. You are worth it. Okay? So that's all for this time. I'm about to cry. So I'm going to go back to my daughter and hug her and hold her. So, see you guys. Subscribe if you want more. Comment. Be happy. And I know I'm saying that's really ridiculous to say to depressed people, but you'll find your way. You'll find your way. It's hard, I know. But you gotta find your way. Bye-bye.